Did you know you can train your neck with something as simple as the towel? Hey guys, James here from Sweet Science of Fighting. Look, we know how important it is to train our necks as fighters. Not having any equipment is not an excuse not to do it. If we take a look at some of the research on neck strength and concussions, there's a great 2014 study in high school athletes, and they found that neck strength helps predict concussion rates, where stronger necks are less likely to incur concussions. Interestingly, it doesn't seem that neck size is a predictor of concussion. So the size of your neck is not going to dictate whether or not you're going to reduce your risk of concussion, it's just the neck strength. Further, for every just 1 pound increase in neck strength, we see a reduction in the risk of concussion by approximately 5%. So it's worth training your neck. Even just that little bit of strength can help prevent that risk of concussion. And the reason being, it seems that maximum isometric training of the neck helps reduce that peak acceleration that occurs, for example, when you're getting struck. This was actually researched in soccer, where soccer players hitting the ball, they actually have concussion and head and neck problems from hitting the ball, and they found that neck training reduced essentially that whiplash of the head. So here is a very basic 4-way neck isometric you can do simply with a towel. Now you're going to need a towel that's a little longer than maybe your normal hand towel. I mean, they're cheap enough to buy anyway. And all you're going to do is essentially scrunch it up, place it around your head, and pull and resist. So you can do 4 ways. So you can go back, you can do the side with one hand, resist. You have the other side to resist, and you have the front. Now you can be a little more creative than just the 4 ways if you like, and you can even get various diagonal angles. So instead of going straight front to back, you can move it slightly to the side and get a slightly different angle for your isometric. Now if this is your first time doing neck isometrics, do not pull as hard as you can and do not resist as hard as you can. Start at about 70%, increase your duration just to get used to it. I'd recommend starting 10 to 20 seconds at around 70% effort, then you can build your way gradually to maximal efforts. When you're doing maximal efforts, 6 to 10 seconds is your sweet spot, 2 to 4 sets. If you're doing these longer ones, for example 10 to 20 seconds or more, you can do the same 2 to 4 sets, but you're going to do these at much lower intensity, and that's going to help prepare you for the higher intensity neck isometrics. Now you're not limited to only isometric training with a towel. You can also use this to get normal dynamic contractions, so your concentric eccentric work, simply just by lying on a bench, which I'm going to show you now. But you can also do it if you want, you can do almost eccentric quasi-isometrics or even eccentric contractions, where you're going to resist as hard as you can, pulling on your neck, and you're going to slowly lengthen that contraction. Now I wouldn't recommend doing this again if you're not used to training your neck or you're new to it. Again, the neck is, you could say, finicky when it comes to training, where if you do too much too soon, you're going to essentially hurt yourself. So to do the dynamic contractions on the bench, all you're going to do is lie on it, have your head hanging off the back, just like your isometrics, and now you can nod your head. You can do this 4 ways. When you're doing these dynamic contractions, you can do anywhere from 10 to 20 reps of these. Again, 1 to 3 or 1 to 4 sets. I like to do the neck stuff as part of the warm-up, so I like doing that at the beginning of training, because it's not going to tax you going into the rest of your session, and it's going to provide you with that neck training when you're fresh, and you're not going to skip it at the end of your training. And if you want to take your neck training to the next level, then I highly recommend getting an iron neck. Now this thing has been a lifesaver for my neck, especially when training jiu-jitsu, you get neck cranked or someone squeezes your neck, you hear that click, and you can't turn your head left or right for the next few days. The iron neck is the only thing that's actually helped me be able to move my neck again quickly and relieve that pain. And I've tried many other different things like neck hammocks and various traction devices. So I highly recommend, there's actually a discount code in the description if you want to check that out. The best thing is that it allows you to train these 4-way isometrics, but at all 360 degrees. And that makes the iron neck much more effective than just using a towel. But if you don't have the budget or you're just going off what you have, that Tell Isometrics will do you perfectly. Make sure you like the notification bell too, because next week I'm answering a subscriber's question from the powerlifting video that was done a couple of weeks ago, and that is about retraining speed for fighters. So stay tuned for that and make sure you like and subscribe.